I'm sure you've seen kinetic typography, which is just a fancy name for animated text. I'm Chris Converse for Creative Pro, and I'll bet you think this is a pretty tedious thing to do, which it can be unless you're using Keynote. When you break down your type into sentences, words, and characters, there's a lot of things that need to work for the animation. Things like point sizes, color, rotation, alignment, even character level motion effects like tracking or even a typewriter effect. So here in Keynote, I have my first slide. I'm going to come over here and option drag a copy. Now, if you're working in Windows, you can use the iCloud version through your web browser. I'm going to go back to frame 1, select my background. I'm going to zoom out here a little bit. I'm just going to make the background rather large. And click and hold. I'm going to make sure I make it large enough so that all of the little design elements here are outside of the live canvas area. I'll grab my headshot. I'll move this out just to the edge, move the logo up just to the edge as well. That way, when this animates back in, I'll get a nice parallax effect. The larger graphic will appear to move faster than the smaller graphics here. And now let's start working with the typography. So first I'm going to select the step-by-step. Let's come over here to our format panel. Let's come down to text. Let's go into the options, character spacing, and let's bring this up to about 200%. Let's drag this over until it snaps into the center. Maybe I'll bring it up a little bit further, maybe 220. Bring it in the center. We're going to select this, go to Style, set the opacity down to 0. And now Keynote will take care of animating the opacity and the tracking or the spacing between the letters. Let's select the title. Let's come in here. We're also going to set the color here. So let's go back to text. For the color, let's change this to a sort of darker gray. Let's also change the text to semi-bold. Let's change the alignment to center and drag this over here. So in addition to animating the weight, the color, the tracking like we did earlier, we can also change the orientation of the text or the alignment. I'll select my name. We'll delete that. Back at the main slide level, let's come to our transition. Make sure nothing's selected. I'll zoom out. Add an effect. We're going to add Magic Move. Now you can see that automatically playing the first time I select it. We can come up here and click preview, and now you can get a sense of all of that type moving around. We'll play that one more time because it's just too fun. Now for my name, what happens on Magic Move is anything that is not matching will fade automatically. However, let's go over here to my name. We'll select this. And another thing we can do, a character by character based animation, is apply a build effect to type. So we'll come over here to our paintbrush tool. The animation tool. Let's click add an effect. And if I come over here and just click preview, we can get a quick preview of how these animations will be applied. So there's a bunch of different animated presets here. So here's the typewriter effect. We've got a cube effect. I use that a lot in my presentations. And there's just tons of interesting techniques that you can try. So for this one, let's try the twist and scale. So I'll select this. And then there's a bunch of properties that you can choose. You can choose how long this takes to play, whether it's clockwise or counterclockwise. And then finally, the build order. Let's come down here to the build order. Anything where we have a build applied, we can come in here and choose when this plays. And I'll come in here and choose after transition. We'll click OK. Let's go back to the first slide. Let's come up here and preview this. And then we can see the entire animation playing. I'll click my mouse and we'll see all of those pieces moving into place. So we got a lot of typographic movement, orientations, tracking, scaling, letter-based animations, all by simply changing properties slide to slide or assigning different presets using the build settings. Now we'll escape out of here and let's take a look at another technique. So in this case, what I want to do is actually move the type around the screen, and we're going to use individual slides to do this. So I'm going to come in here to the left-hand side. I'm going to make 4 copies of this slide. In the very first slide, we'll get rid of my name and the logo. We'll also get rid of the title. I'll put this down here. We're going to take the step-by-step. I'm going to hold the Command key. We're going to move this into place. I'm going to get it nice and centered. Use my guides to center this. Let's come back to the formatting panel. Let's go to our text, and we're going to set this to about 300 points. Scale this out, make this really large. Also set the opacity on here. So I'll go back to Style, Opacity, bring this down. Slide 2, we're going to have the step-by-step in the center, and we'll move the build and animation system off to the right-hand side. So again, I'm going to get rid of the logo here and here. And typically we work backwards in this particular technique. So let's move the title over to the left. Let's grab step by step. Let's rotate this back, put this back in the center. And so now what's going to happen is we're going to go to slide 1. Let's go to our transition. We're going to use Magic Move, 2 seconds. Let's preview this. Now I want that to play much faster. Let's bring this down to about 0.3 seconds or 0.4, somewhere right there. Let's hit preview. Maybe 0.4. That gives us a nice quick pop. Then from this slide to slide 3, I want to have the brand system in place, and I want to have my name and the logo sort of scale down. So we're going to come in here. Let's scale this up. And instead, I want to have mine rotate, not scale. So move this up. I'm also going to move this over here. I want it to sort of animate down and across from the step-by-step. Back to opacity. We'll turn that down. We'll turn this opacity down. Actually move this up so it stays in the corner. Animated brand system, we'll keep that in place. So that will animate from slide 2 over to slide 3. This one will make this take a little bit longer. The larger things are on screen, you want to slow them down a little bit. So this one will bring this down to maybe 1 second. Let's hit preview. So now we get this nice rotation of step by step as the title comes in. Maybe you make that a little bit faster, 0.9. That comes into place. Come down to here. Magic Move from 2 to 4, its final state. Let's bring that down to 1 second. Hit preview. Those come into place. I'm watching my name. It sort of looks like it moves a little strange. So let's come in here and just maybe move this over a little bit. Hold the shift key, use the arrows. Let's hit preview again. We can't control the pivot point of the rotation, unfortunately, but I can come in here and just sort of move where the beginning piece is. So I might just move this up here just a little bit. Then we'll preview the whole thing. Let's go back here and hit play. And now with our final animation, of course, we could drop a little bit of music on there, a couple of beats. And we have a finished intro bumper using kinetic typography, really quick and easy inside of Keynote.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel. And for thousands more how-to articles and tutorials, visit our website, creativepro.com, and become a member today. Thanks for learning with us.